Okay, it's 10:30. It's my bedtime. I just rambled for 10 minutes to do this quick video about the idiosyncrasies of. This isn't my Saturday video. There is a video tomorrow, Robocop on the Spectrum. That's my main video. This is to help people that are. This quick video is to help people having issues with Amiga Explorer. And I'll put a link in the question on one of my previous videos, because things have changed since I last talked about Amiga Explorer in Amiga Explorer version 9 point whatever the hell. Okay, I've just already explained it, but guess what? My microphone was turned off. My microphone was turned off in OBS, so you wouldn't have heard a word. And I'm also keep looking at the camera. The camera I don't think is even on. No, it isn't. Hi, bye. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay, good. So, just to explain, if you try and copy, so Amiga Explorer, got RAM disk, you got your DF0, as long as you've put a disk in. This one is not initialized, hence why it's saying that. If I go to drag an ADF into there, what it's going to attempt to do is copy the ADF onto the disk, not overwrite the disk. There's a big difference, okay? So that is what that will do, okay? Because there's not room because of the Amiga DOS information on an Amiga formatted disk. And in fact, I don't know why it's done. I might have done an automatic update, because when I first started doing this, it would actually ask to initialize the disk first, which is not doing now. If I, on here, maybe something's cocked up. I don't know what's going on. Let's just close that. And see, now it won't even open that. Okay, I have to format the disk first or whatever. Okay, let me put another disk in. I'll put a disk in, so I'll explain why they've done this. And it's actually a really useful feature. Okay, so I've just swapped disks in Amiga Explorer. Okay, you can see that's the new disk. If I double click in there, it's happy to read that disk because it's Amiga formatted. So I think there must have been an automatic update, because this is improved. And the reason why they've done this, and you can see where I did this on the previous example where I wasn't recording my audio, so I've got to redo it all again, but never mind, is so that I can read an Amiga disk on a PC. This is freaking fantastic. So let's say I'd drawn this stealth fighter for Douglas Compton's art competition. I did last year, but anyway. And I want to send him just the image file. Well, I can pop it in my Amiga RS-232 cable, Amiga Explorer running on both, and I can copy that onto my PC because my Amiga 500 doesn't connect to the internet. So this is why they've done that. It gives you the option to browse a Amiga disk on a PC, which is friggin' awesome. This is awesome. It's pretty cool. And there we go. There is my stealth image. Pretty useless unless I open up DPaint in my emulator and then open the file. I still got to add it to an ADF. But anyway, to email it to Douglas Compton, he could download it directly onto his Amiga. Blah blah blah. Job done. So that's why they've done it, so that you can actually browse an Amiga disk from your PC. Brilliant. What that does mean though is to actually. Let me put an unformatted disk back in, which I'm going to do now. Okay, just refresh that. That should say, it says nothing, and now it says, there we go, there it is. Okay, so now it won't let me, okay, I can format it, I don't know. What does it sound of properties? Nothing, doesn't like it. Okay, so I can't really do anything with this. I have to go into virtual files, and there is the image of that disk. Even though it's a bad disk, that is the image of that disk. That's what I have to overwrite. So I have to drag this onto there, and now it's going to start the overwrite. Now I'm not going to ramble on while that finishes. Well, I might, you know me, who knows. that will complete. I'm not going to ramble on for 9 minutes, so I'll basically explain the next thing. Because I'm going directly through RS-232, I know for a fact this will complete no problems. I don't think there was anything I needed on that disk. I certainly didn't need Outrun on that disk. Actually, I do need Outrun on that disk, because I'm pretty sure the emulator runs it too fast. That's another story. Anyway, right. So, what was I going to say? Because I'm going direct RS-232, I know this is going to work absolutely fine. The Amiga may moan about it when it's finished. The PC probably won't, okay? Right. If I'm using a USB adapter, which I don't use anymore, if I'm using this, if I was using one of these, what I was finding is it would get pretty much 99.9% complete is I reckon what mine would get to, and then it would throw up an error. So the guy I'm thinking answering, this may be your problem as well. If you're definitely doing it the right way, this next point may be the issue you're coming up against. And it's to do with this, and it's also to do with the fact that if I'm writing a game, it's not Amiga DOS format, it's its own format. So this doesn't send the signal back and forwards properly. So it writes the disk. Amiga format will appear to crash on you or not really update, and it will tell you it didn't finish. But I bet you anything, if you leave the written disk in your Amiga and do a reset, I bet it boots. Because I bet it's actually, especially if it's a game with a cracked or whatever, I bet you anything it's actually written the disk information, but what hasn't flowed back through this is the information to Amiga Explorer to say that the thing is complete. So that may be what you're up against. Other than that, I find via direct RS-232 cable, which is what I'm using now, which is why I bothered to make that modification to my modern PC, is I don't get that issue. So I hope that clears that up. If you're getting an out of space indicator or error message, it means you're dragging it into the wrong place. Like I said, you must go into virtual files. You must go into virtual files. I just held up that bloody thing. Sorry, it's very late. Yeah, there's no threats. There's no threats. Sorry, it's late, and I've had wine. If you're using one of these, if you're using a USB adapter, if you're using a USB adapter, then often I will get that error message to say, hey, guess what? This hasn't quite worked. But actually, if you reboot your machine, then I find that actually it has worked, and that image will actually boot off the floppy disk on your Amiga. So I'm sure you'll be fine. If you're going through one of these, if you're going direct RS-232, then I find you don't run into that issue. So that is still an issue depending on what the adapter you use. It's just the reality of using USB to RS-232. It's not perfect. So you might find that's all it is. So happily keep writing ADFs to disks, and then test one when you've written several. I find they always worked anyway. But that's why I made that modification to my machine, as I said. I think that's enough information, but yeah, just keep in mind, you must be in virtual files. If you're not in virtual files, then you're copying it into the wrong place. Okay, that's for you. That's for you. Who is that for? That's for, I won't bring up your name, but you know who it is, because I'll put a link in the reply to your thing in my other video. All right, good night. Stop recording.